Hello, good
Hello,
morning.
good morning.
How are you today?
Uh, it's so. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm a little bit tired.
Yeah. You
It's
have
been a
a
long
hard
day.
day? Yes. Okay.
How was your day
And
yesterday?
sorry, can you repeat?
How was your day yesterday?
Uh, Yesterday is also a long day because I worked too much and I finished at the midnight. That's why today I get up late.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's all
I
right.
just I just woke up when I received your message and I said, "Oh no."
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
No, this is not your fault. This is my fault because I I turned off the alarm and then I continue sleeping. It makes me late today.
No, it's all right. I understand. It happened the same to me this morning. Um,
Really?
yes, because I have a class at 4 a.m. from 4 to 5. Then
Yeah.
from 5 to 6, I got nothing. So I went to lay down a little and then I had a class at 6 a.m. and I fell asleep and I woke up at 6:09 and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so late." No.
I think we experienced the same situation because of hurricane. But
Yeah,
I
sometimes I got a class at 1 a.m. until 2. Then I have to wake up at 5. So it's hard. It's not every day. It's two um two times a week, but still, it's a little bit sometimes it really gets hard.
yes,
But that's
that's right.
right. I mean,
I
it's
used to
not
have.
forever.
Okay. I know it because sometimes I have classes at 5 a.m. and it makes me feel very exhausted. To be honest, I often I often hope that oh, my students, I hope that you will you will not get up and in time you will continue to sleep.
I
Sometimes
know.
I think that.
Yeah, I know. I understood. I saw you send me the homework already.
Yes.
But that's all right. To be honest, I didn't have the time to review it.
Okay, no problem. Yes.
And but I will review it next week and I will deliver to you next week. But tell me, how did you feel?
Mm,
How was regarding the time and so on?
the time I cannot finish in time, and
I couldn't
yes,
finish in time.
yes, it
Okay.
takes me maybe more than nearly 30 minutes to finish this task. But to reading task, I can finish in time. It only takes me um, more than 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And but I just read one time and I didn't read again.
You
So
just read
I'm
it
not sure
once.
about this. Yeah. So I'm not really sure about all my answers. And I know that in the examination it's hard for me to read again. So I just submit my answers.
Okay. No, it's
Yes.
okay. I will have the feedback for that when I come back from my holiday from
Yes.
Thanksgiving. Um,
Okay.
I remember the other day that you said to me that you wanted to practice a little bit more listening and reading, correct?
Yeah, I would
So,
like more listen.
I found this really cool, um, it's like a copy of a test. And actually, it
Yes.
has the records and everything exactly like you're going to listen in the exam.
Okay.
So, I would like to practice that with you today. All right?
Uh, at class, I only would like to learn writing and speaking, and I want to do listening and reading at home because I don't really like learning this one.
You don't like what?
I don't like I don't like learning about listening and writing at classes because I think it makes me feel very difficult to focus on the screen while I doing the task, and I also need to print it, make a copy here to read. It's
Uh-huh.
better for yeah. I
Oh,
feel my eyes hurt when I read at the screen for a long time. I cannot focus on the main, and my skimming and scanning skills not really good at the computer.
oh, okay. But okay, it's all right. It was a listening, not reading, but whatever you feel better.
Yes, maybe. Okay.
Okay. So let's continue practicing on speaking. Here
Yes.
we go. Just a second here. So I can go back here. Okay. Okay, so I'm not gonna share the screen with you. Here. Remember, before we actually start with the speaking part, what do you remember of some things that you have to do while speaking and some things that you are better to avoid when you are speaking?
Yes, okay. When I take part in speaking examination, I would like to remember to use higher level of vocabulary, and then I can use different kinds of structures, not only single sentence, but also some complex or compound sentence to make my grammar better in examination.
Okay.
Moreover, I can use a long answers to express my idea, not short answers. And my tongue, my accent is normal, like I'm talking to a friend to make my speaking more natural.
Correct.
Maybe, yeah. Uh, do you remember anything?
No, it's okay. Things that you need to avoid.
I need to avoid repeat the question.
Repeat the
Yeah.
question.
And
That's good.
and also use the low vocabulary. And I shouldn't make my fluencies disturbed by anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Moreover, if I don't, I shouldn't go off the topic.
Go off the topic. That's correct. What are some, remember the examples of listening, or I'm sorry, of a speaking part? What are mistakes that you could hear in those examples? Things that you say, that you need to say, okay, I need to avoid doing this and that.
Yes. And then I, I think that we shouldn't. I don't remember anything now. I shouldn't. Mm,
Do you drink coffee?
no, I don't drink coffee.
I think you're still a little bit sleepy.
Yes, you're right. Because I just woke up.
Oh my
Sorry.
God, I'm so sorry.
Really sorry today. Not focusing on learning. Um, yeah, I will try more.
It's
And
all right.
yes, I shouldn't use, I shouldn't repeat a lot of words many times while speaking, and repeat the ideas too.
Okay, that's correct.
It's better for me to have a good contact through eyes with the examiner, and when
Examiner,
talking to the
examiner.
ex examiner, and when I am talking to them, I should make a eye contact, keep the eye contacts, and also keep body language
Eye
to prove
contact,
that,
correct?
yeah, to make my to show that I'm really confident of my speaking, and I have time to show my English, not the time to take correct in examination.
Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some more questions about your...
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so here, let's get started. I'm not gonna share the screen with you. I'm just gonna send you some things here.
Yes.
Remember that it's so much better if at the beginning you organize your ideas. You have a little time before you actually start giving your answers. Use it. Take advantage of this time that they're given to you because you are
Okay.
practicing. You are not just going to be there like you don't know what is happening. Okay? You
Okay.
are practicing.
Yes.
So, in that time, just try to relax and to remember all the practice that you have had. Okay? So, here, let's
Yes.
get started with this. Remember that these are only examples of questions. This is just like a guide that you can use in order to organize your ideas when talking about hometown.
Okay.
And remember some of the examples when we heard on the record the person talking about his hometown that the examiner asked and what are the jobs and how is the people. Try to avoid um, that the examiner ask
Yes.
questions about it, all right?
Yes. My hometown is Town, and I have been there since I grew up. Grew up. My mother and my parents. It means that all of my family are still living there, and they work as the family. Almost of them work as the family because the main job there is the farmer. Yiling is a small town. Is 80 kilometers far from the city, and it is located in London province. The weather is very cool because it's near the city. You know that like it's very famous tourism city, and many people want to come here to take a rest because of the weather, and Yiling is too. My hometown also has a cool weather and has 4 seasons per day. In the morning, it's very cool. You will experience the feeling that you are in the spring. Moreover, turn to the midday, it becomes hotter. And in the afternoon, the weather cooler again, like in the winter, and like in the autumn. And at the end of the day, it is extremely cold, like in the winter. So when you travel to my hometown, you will get a great feeling because of the weather is changing every day. Besides that, People there are very friendly. And one thing you should know about my hometown and me is the characteristic of people there. They are hardworking people because the main job here is farmer. People always need to work hard all day under the sun. That's why they are very tired and exhausted. It makes them become much more patient. And whenever someone comes here and ask them to do anything for them, they are willing to help the other people. And this is also one of the most impression of me to me because of my hometown. The thing I like most here is the way that people behave together. We have a very special lifestyle. It's different from the way people behave in the city. Sometimes because of the cities, the busy modern life, people don't have enough time to contact, to chat, to talk together, especially the people in the neighborhood. However, in my hometown, although the house is not really close or near together, it's not side by side. We usually spend time talking together, talking and sharing many things with our neighbor. And neighbor is more important, as important as our relative because they stay next to us and they will help us everything when we meet difficulties. Something I also don't like something related to my hometown, like I don't like the weather because the weather here is changeable. That's why sometimes it's easy for me to get sick and I caught fever for a long time and it affects much on my studying, my working too. Especially in the rainy season. It's rain all day and people find hard to go out to do a lot of work, especially because they are they are farmers. In the future, I'm not going to live here because I think that I just want to stay here to relax. And sometimes I want to return to my hometown to visit my relative and parents. But actually, I don't want to live here in the future. I want to find a more peaceful place like the city and enjoy my life here. And besides that, I want to have a small business company running in my hometown. And all of those things are just my dream and my future. I don't know exactly how the future occurs. Yeah, that's
Okay. No, that's pretty good. Just here it comes with my recommendations. Remember that we are still in the first part
yes,
of the test, and this part is just a small introduction, and it
okay,
can be anything. That's why the questions are so basic, like family, hometown, studies, your work. It's something
yeah,
that you will use to start a conversation. That is why we have only 2 minutes. And it's taking you longer than that. Now, um, your pronunciation was really good. Here, I am going to give you just to share this screen for a second
yes.
so you can see my notes. Okay, here are my notes. At the beginning, you you said that the main job is a farmer.
Yeah,
In that case, it would be farming. And if you want to add a better, you say agriculture. The main job is agriculture. It
yes.
sounds like a higher level word. Um, then you start here, you start using there, like my hometown is there.
Yeah,
And at the end, you start using here. I know it can be a little difficult because you are in your hometown right now.
Yes.
But when you are in the taking the test, you have to refer your hometown as there.
Yes.
But that is just technicism. Here, something that I noticed too. You start talking, you mention the weather, okay?
Yeah.
Then you start describing people, and then you came back to weather again.
Yeah.
Because you said, um, do we have the four season? You feel like it's spring and so on. Then you mentioned how is the people in your hometown, and then you said, I don't like the weather.
Yes.
Okay, so you have to unify your ideas. Something that I noticed, like at the end, you mentioned the word together at least 6 times.
Yeah.
Okay, people behave together. I did not understand this part.
Sorry, can you wait me a little?
Take
Some
your time.
student find. Chào con. Okay, thank you.
Don't you worry, I understand. Believe me. I know how it is. Sometimes people think like, "Oh, you work in your house. You can still receive phone calls. Yeah, you can still talk to me. We can still have like a normal life." And sometimes you're like, "No, I cannot." It happens to me. I used to have my grandmother visiting here for a while, and she saw me on the computer taking class and the video and recorded and everything, and she used to stand right here next to me and start talking, and I was like, uh, try to make signs like, no, I can't.
Me too, me too. Sometimes my mother comes and talk to me naturally, like
Yeah.
no one here.
And you want to have your to have eye contact with the student, and you keep your face looking at the camera, and your eyes are like, no.
It's very funny.
I know there's some perks like nobody talks when you are um, an online teacher, and it's something new because actually this job teaching online is actually new, so they don't understand like, or sometimes I just I use headset because it's better for me. It helps me to keep focus. It's okay if you need to go. It's all right.
No, no, no. My mother's opened the door. Just
And sometimes when I have to play a video or an audio, I also listen in. And because
yes.
because I don't speak, they think I'm not teaching, and they start talking, and I'm like, no, 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 I cannot hear. I cannot hear you. So,
Okay.
okay. You said people behave together.
Yes.
I did not understand this part. Okay, then you said talk together, talking together. It's not actually talking together, it's talking to each other.
Talking to each other. Yes. Okay.
And then when you said that the people in your hometown, because of their job and their daily activities, they're very exhausted, but it sounds like exotic.
Exotic. Yeah.
Exhausted.
Uh, the first one or the second one?
This one, exhausted, extremely tired.
Yeah, exotic. Right?
Exhausted. Exotic, it's actually something else.
Exotic. Right?
Okay, what you meant is exhausted.
Very
Exhausted.
tired. Exotic. Wait for me, it take the pronunciation by Discord.
Okay.
But I mean, in this case is very tired.
Okay.
The second one,
Yeah, the
yeah.
second one, exhausted.
Ah, it exotic,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
Exhausted. We have an S here that we really need to pronounce. Exhausted.
exhausted,
Correct. Just like that. One more time. Exhausted.
exotic.
Very good. Because otherwise it sounds like exotic. And exotic, it's something else. Exotic,
Exhausting.
yeah,
We have
exotic, it
S
might not be like what you
and O.
want.
Yes,
Like
exhausting.
something like this. Okay, then now I noticed when you were explaining about seasons in your hometown, you use the, like you are in the spring, you are in the autumn, you are in the winter. Try to avoid using the article the. You feel like you are in spring. You feel like you are in winter, okay? Because
Yes.
it's general. Uh,
Okay.
and that was it. Those were my recommendations regarding to this.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
now I'm going to stop sharing here.
Okay.
Let's do it again here. Remember, we are still in part one, okay? Like the
Yes.
introduction. And I really need you to manage this time
Yes.
because here.
How many minutes that the examiner will take me for the first part?
One or two. I mean, you are introducing yourself, and when he asks you about a simple talk like this, like your hometown, your family, your studies, uh, that is like 2 minutes. They will give
Yeah.
you 1 or 2 minutes before you speak, and then you have 3 minutes, 3 to 4. So we really need to manage that time because they are like sharp.
Yeah. It means that on the first part there are also some other questions, and I just need to spend 1 or 2 minutes
Remember, there are
for one
3 parts.
question.
The first part
Yeah.
is introduction and interview.
Yeah.
The
And
second
the
part,
introduction test.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, and the introduction will take you the whole 4 to 5
Cor-
minutes for the first, right? And the second part will take you only 1 minute to think and 2 minutes to say. And then the last part, it takes you more minutes there. Is this true?
Correct.
Yeah. But to answer the question in the first part, each question only takes 2 minutes. It's enough.
Yes, two
Shouldn't
minutes
use
is
very.
enough.
Okay, okay, understand.
So the idea is that I mean that you can give a whole point of view, that the examiner doesn't start asking you questions trying to fill
Yeah.
in out those 2 minutes because maybe your answers are too short or they lack of
Okay.
ideas and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay, here. Nice. This one is a good one. This one is a really nice topic. When are you going? Where do you take this exam? Do you have to travel to another city in Vietnam or in your hometown you can take it?
To another city. And the nearest city is Dallas City, 80 kilometers far from my hometown.
80.
Yeah, 80 kilometers.
Also, you don't you can go back and forth or you stay. You're planning to stay.
Yeah, we go back and forth.
Oh, okay. Travel. Do you like travel? What kind of places have you visited in your life? Which place would you really like to visit and why? What's the best place you've ever visited? This is in case that you have traveled. If you haven't, you can explain your reasons why you haven't traveled, but your wishes to travel, your future plans, countries, everything that you know about it. Okay,
Sorry.
here
Yeah.
just a second. And just let me set the time to 8:40.
Yes. Okay.
Just 15 seconds. All right, you can start.
Yes. Nowadays, traveling is one of the most common business because it has brought people many advantages. That's why I'm really a fan of traveling. I used to travel to many beautiful places. Maybe they are near my hometown, maybe they are very far from my hometown, including a high mountain or the beaches. And all of the places that I traveled are good and beautiful places. That's why I can receive a lot of meaningful things from these trips. Uh, I like traveling because of many reasons. Whenever I travel, I can relax so much, and it's also a meaningful time for me to keep the memories with my family as well as my friends. Sometimes I spend time traveling with my friends because when I'm working in nowadays, I don't have enough time to talk, to take care of my friends, and then I spend traveling with them to sharing to improve our relationship, and it's good time for me. Besides that, traveling also help you broaden your knowledge. Very exciting example when you travel to Nha Trang, this is the beach, and there are a lot of kinds of seafood. When you enjoy seafood, you can also know more vocabulary, know more kinds of marine creator. Yeah, it's very interesting. And in the future, I'm going to travel abroad. For example, Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong, or Taiwan, and many Asian countries here. Because if you're traveling abroad, you can learn and you can acquire many interesting things in our trip. Sometimes I can know a new person and I can fall in love with him. For example, my image is very far away, and I hope that traveling can continue my interests, my hobbies in the future.
Okay, very good. That was like 2 minutes sharp. That's great. And actually, you did it very good. Maybe because on the other one you were still a little tired and sleepy. I'm just messing with you. Um, and actually, just like a few recommendations. Um, you said all of the places, just to forget to use the singular form. You said,
Okay.
I like traveling for many, many reasons. And then you stop,
Yes.
and it will be better if you say, I would like traveling for many reasons, such as fun, knowledge, I don't know,
Okay.
always remember to, when you say, when you use many reasons, immediately try to think to enumerate, okay?
Okay.
And
Okay.
then you said just a sentence that I didn't understand, and the only thing that I could catch was knowledge. But the word before that, I didn't understand. I couldn't catch it.
Broaden knowledge.
Oh, okay.
Broaden.
That's what that is the word that I couldn't catch up.
Yes.
Before we continue, how do you feel with this second part of the speaking test? Like you feel like you are more aware of what is going to happen, and like you feel secure, like Now he can ask me about these things and I know what to do and what not to do. How do you feel?
About the second part,
Yes,
right?
about this part, like like the short topic, just like a random topic.
Mm, it means that about the first part or the second part of the examination.
We haven't got to the final part yet. This part, like, I introduce myself, I'm the examiner, I introduce myself, then you get to introduce yourself, and then I ask, like, yeah, tell me about your family,
Yes.
or, how do you feel so far? That is my question.
Okay. I don't know. But actually, I don't understand clearly your question.
Okay,
Today it seems that I'm not really good. So sorry.
don't worry. Did you have breakfast already?
No, not yet. I
Maybe
just
that's
woke
what
up
you
at
need.
8 a.m. when I received your message, and I remember, oh no, it's time for class, and I forget.
Maybe what you need is breakfast. When is your next class?
Yes. Sorry, can you repeat?
When when is your next class?
At 9 a.m., but my student just came back and told me that he would like to come back late because he had another classes, and maybe he will end the classes later.
Oh, so you have time to have breakfast and to refresh yourself a little and actually waking up.
Okay, I will try.
And is in this class is an online class or offline?
Offline.
Oh, they
It's offline.
they go to your house.
Yeah, they will come to my house and they learn with me. I have a small classroom at my house, and I set up a arranged many things like in the class, but in a very modern, quite modern and beautiful class in my house. And then students come here, learn together, learn in group,
Mm-hmm.
and something like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. I have thought about it, just like having a small classroom just like you and have people come over, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, because I also learn Spanish and I also teach Spanish. And I don't know if I told you before, here in America, only the
Yeah, yeah.
United States speak English. The rest of the countries speak Spanish. So they take Spanish lessons at college and high school, whatever. So teaching Spanish, I think it's just a little like Vietnamese. I don't know how is it, but for example, in Spanish, when you conjugate one verb, it's different from each pronoun. So it's quite hard.
Yes, it's quite hard for both teacher and students.
Yeah, but I admire you and I think that's really great. You're wonderful. Okay, so let's do the last one so you can go have some breakfast, refresh yourself. Okay?
Yes, I will do it after class.
Yes, let's do the last one so you can do that. Here. This one is going to be a little bit different. Here. Describe an artist or entertainer you admire. You should say who they are and what they do, how they become successful, how do you find out about them, and explain why you admire them.
Yes.
All right?
Okay.
All right, I listen.
Okay. In Vietnam, there are many famous people because celebrity is extremely famous in our country, and many people concerned about showbiz. And one of the famous people that I admire much is Trường Giang comedian. Trường Giang comedians is one of the attractive name of Vietnamese showbiz, not only because of many scandals but also his talents. To be honest, he also causes a lot of scandals too. Um, Julian was born in 1983. It means he's not really old. However, he is successful in many different kinds of aspects in the art. He worked as comedian, and sometimes he worked as MC or the actor too. His talent is shown very clearly throughout his process of working. However, he used to experience a long, hard-working process to get this position like today. At the beginning, he just he just follow some famous actors or famous comedians to show in small places or in some simple places like school or the places of in some villages. I mean, after that, Hoa comedian is another famous comedian in Vietnam, maybe the most famous, the most common, well-known actors in Vietnam. He leads to young comedian to the showbiz and he create more shows for Trường Giang took part in. That's why when he has a good chance to show his talents, he became famous. I really admire Jun Yang because of his characteristic. Although he is famous, he have a simple life and he behaved to another people he behaved to other people kindly. Sometimes he is willing to help young people to develop his or her career in showbiz, and then he is extremely faithful to his wife. Yeah, that's because of many reasons I extremely admire him.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, here are my recommendations. You say
Yeah.
famous peoples.
Yeah.
Okay, then you said one of the famous people is one of the famous person because you're saying one.
Yeah.
Then I heard you say his talents.
Yes.
His talent, you're talking about he's a comedian.
Yeah.
When you pronounce kindfully, it sounds like kitefully. It sounded like that. So maybe you can try to this particular word, try to practice how you pronunciate it. Kindfully. Make an emphasis.
Kind.
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 Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But
Kindful.
you are talking about a person and it's not kindfully, it's kindness. His
Kindness.
kindness.
Okay. His kindness.
Kindness, that's correct.
Yes.
Other than that,
Thank
that was pretty good.
you. Thank you.
Because of you send me your homework so much earlier than I was expected. Before I leave on holiday, I will send you to your email more practice
Yes.
and this listening practice that I think it will be really good for you because you can hear the listening audio, of course, and you can check just like the exam to complete with the
Yes.
information that you hear. So it will be
Okay.
really good for you to practice, and I will send the links and everything to your email.
Okay. Thank you. Teacher, do you feel okay because today I refused to learn listening and reading with you? Do you feel